All right. Interweave. It's just a phase. Tension, Waller Creek Show, 2018. Agave, Moonlight. Playing guitar just for kicks. Bejeweled Night. Galactic Tree. Safe from Laura. No Snickers in my Milky Way. Stars on Stage. Palace, 1925. .360 Bridge. Scarlet Swoops. Reflections on a ghostly wave. Ghost Hut Explosion. Airing out the nets and hiding from Laura. Moonshine. Back door to your roots. Okay.
Who's the judges, not Josh?
I don't know.
The judges are Schwartz, Stephen Brkich, and Clay Leben.
Up here.
I mean, just so you know, I'm always judging, but I'm not the official judge this month.
Okay. Okay.
You're saying you're judgmental.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Josh always raises the level of discussion.
Do you know what my YouTube show is called? Josh Says Mean Things. Come on.
All right.
So, admittedly, Josh, you've gotten a lot nicer lately. Like, Josh says
lukewarm
mean things.
Sort of constructive, sort of mean, not exactly.
I mean, I'll change if y'all want. That's fine.
Josh says pessimistic things. No.
All right.
Let the judges go. Let the judges go.
We'll move on. If we have some extra time at the end, we'll bash Josh. Okay, first image is Interweave. Clay, is this?
Not mine.
Okay. All right. Next one is It's Just a Phase, and this is...
That's mine.
Okay. Steve.
Oh, I really like this one. The detail in the moon. It's not a full moon. You don't see the full moon. I kind of like how it goes from light to dark. Can't really tell. Is it color? Is it black and white? Yeah, it's black and white, but they kind of got me thinking of Pink Floyd and the Dark Side of the Moon, and on this one here. I think it was cropped well. A little space here and there, but overall, I really like this one.
Okay. Any other comments? I mean, it's technically very sharp.
Yeah.
Okay. Next is Tension, Waller Creek Show 2018.
That's mine. So this is my first time. I don't know if anyone made that announcement, but it's my first time as a judge. I'm going to give it a try after I've been listening to Josh and Steve and the others go for it. So I'm kind of testing this out. I found that it was a great process. I used to think that the scores were too low, but now when I see the pictures and it's interesting how close the pictures are. When you see them lined up, there's usually only a point or two at the most between them. I thought, wow, why aren't they spread out more? Why aren't the judges giving more 90s or even 100? It's also because our judging scale, and I tried to use this, from 90 to 100 is outstanding in impact and quote unquote no flaws. Now, Mark, I don't know how that has influenced you, but I had to think twice about that because there are no pictures without a flaw. But I still think as a judge, it had to be an image like this one where the impact, where you'd say to yourself, if I describe this to someone else, will they immediately bring the picture to mind? Have they seen it before and they oh yeah, that's the one with the colored tents hanging upside down over the stream. I remember that one. This is one that has impact and very strong. The next category, 81 to 90, is very above average, and I think you'll see this evening, or when you later go and look at the results, as any member can do, they can go to the results and look at the critiques and also look at the scores. You'll see that 81 to 90, that's a lot of pictures. The 71 to 80 score that we choose, we have 6 sliders. Mark, I don't know, did I miss something? Did you explain tonight about the 6 sliders?
No, I didn't. It's a, go ahead.
I'm not going to, I think Mark's the one that probably should explain, but we have these 6 sliders for the 6 categories that are used for looking at images: composition, creativity, and originality. Relevance to the theme, is it an interesting subject? Emotional impact. And like I say, this one definitely grabbed me for its color and for its emotional impact. Technical proficiency, of course, we're looking at exposure, depth of field, lighting, sharpness, and then finally we have a slider that can go from 1 to 100, use of light, color, and tonal range. And so my process was to go through and look at all the thumbnails and kind of drag them back and forth and line them up. That's why I'm looking at a thumbnail or maybe the full slide, and then I arrange them in a broad order. And then I go through and I don't know if Steve does this, if Charlie does this, looking for then I look at the sliders and work on sliding them back and forth to get me the score, which is an average of the 6 qualities or characteristics. And finally, we have some check boxes. We can go through and there's check boxes, some positive attributes like conveys a good story, displays peak or action, good use of colors, good use of cropping, good use of light, instills an emotional reaction, original treatment of the subject, sharpness adds impact in areas, or strong composition. If I see something in an image like this one, I'm going to check a lot of the boxes. There are some informational check boxes like, was it over sharpened? Did it need more contrast? Does it need sharpening? And then finally, there's some negative attributes that I can check in this checklist, such as background is distracting, distracting single element, distracting bright areas, distracting element, horizon is not level. Those are check boxes I have available to me. It also helps me then focus. So I found I'd urge anybody. I'm not a great or frequent photographer. Maybe that'll become more apparent tonight. But I do love looking at images. I do love seeing what you all produce. And I found tonight, being a judge for the first time, that I was really appreciating, because I had to look at each image about 5 or 6 times as I went through this process. Quick impression, then going through and using the sliders and trying to be more in detail. And finally, the third level, at least the third time I was looking at it, Mark has asked each of the judges, there's about a third of the total images. He asks us to write a written comment, a written critique that every photographer who submits images can look at those afterwards. And then the oral comment, which I'm giving right now, I only have to do 3 from this each class. So there are some images maybe that, like for example, the one already that gets skipped over, nobody says anything. I guess it's because the judge didn't choose that out of about the 5 or 6, 7 that he was asked to comment on. But this one I was asked to comment on, and so let me just tell you what I wrote. My first impression is amusement and chuckle from the title Tent Jin. So I think that's really a clever title. You have to look closely at the titles because sometimes they do add another level of meaning. And I think a clever title, I think there's some images tonight where a person just said XYZ. They just said literally what's in the image. But some of us have taken the challenge of writing something clever or different to try to tell us what they were trying to capture. So this one's a clever pun, tension. I also like to start by just looking at what's in the image and going through it, making myself describe it. So I wrote, I see a brightly colored, lighted magenta and orange camping tent suspended over flowing water that reflects the harmonious colors. Excellent fit for the Nightshot theme. It tells a story of creative arts redefining the environment. Strong composition with balanced upper and lower thirds. Dominant subject, not centralized, so subjects merge. Technically sharp and well exposed all over. Next time, and here's where, I try to offer my humble suggestions for maybe what a photographer might improve if they were looking at this photograph, or maybe you who didn't take the picture, you should be looking at the photograph and saying, if I was there, how could I take another picture? Can I upgrade the level of what I'm looking at to better convey a story or impact or narrative? So I hope the photographer, who I don't know, says, okay, that's not a bad idea. Maybe I'll do that. It doesn't mean that they have to, or that I look down on them and judge them for not taking a good picture. It just means, here's an idea. Have you thought about it? Maybe next time you'll raise the bar for your picture. So I said, next time, consider walking around and looking at a subject for unusual perspective instead of eye level. Consider including people's expressions of delight. I rated this an overall very above average image. I was giving it scores in the high 80s. There you go. Next.
Clay, for your first time out of the box, that was outstanding. Unfortunately,
Mark, move out of the image.
What's that?
Can you move the cursor? There you go. The cursor.
The only unfortunate thing is I used up all your time for tonight, so you're done.
Yeah, I won't be. I'll be reading. I just wanted to give that as my first opening swan song. Next, I'll be much shorter.
No, but I think it's really good to know that the act of judging changes your view, and this is my plea: everybody that's a club member should judge at some point.
Right. I haven't done it up to now, so you're absolutely right.
Excellent. Okay, next is Agave Moonlight, and that'll be Charles.
Yeah, well, hopefully I'm not nearly as wordy as Clay. I'm really kind of shocked that you haven't done this before. My process is a little. I agree with you to a great deal. My process is a little different in that I actually use the sliders to help me decide what order to put in. I mean, then after I do the sliders, then I'll go look at the resulting order I got, and I may tweak it. I may go like, it didn't really get that didn't really get what I wanted. That really was more deserving. And I'll go back and I'll do some tweaking. But, I think the sliders actually help me decide because they're they're all subjective, but they're all kind of help you think about what's important about an image. Moving on, this one here was, I thought this was just a very engaging image. I mean,
Yeah.
it the way the light just it's like a portrait on a plant. Okay, it's like someone was posing there with a very with a very distinctive lighting pattern, and it brought out the points and the curves and the light and the shadow. I just thought this was an amazing picture, and so I rated it well. And it looks like everybody agreed with me. I thought it was well cropped. I mean, if it had been farther out, there would have been more extraneous stuff. But it's cropped, and I suspect probably also edited, to get anything else extraneous out from the actual image, and so you could just focus on the image itself, and the way the light. The way the light is brightest in the center of the image helped to focus it, and then the lines of all the leaves going in all directions kept you looking throughout the image. So I thought that was an excellent job.
Thanks, Charles. Okay, next is playing guitar just for kicks. Bejeweled Night.
Yeah, this one's mine, Mark.
Okay.
So again, a very strong image. I looked at it and moved it to the top pretty quickly. I think it's the pattern. First of all, it's a unique unique skyline. We have some other pictures coming up later of the Austin skyline. This one stood out for its originality because it's detailed. I think the glow, the warm orange glow on the left side is from sunset. So I said it attracted me with the sunset kissed close-up of Austin's new skyline of tall building, something that shocks old Austinites like me. Technically, it's very sharp, excellent focus, exposure overall. You can practically look into some of those windows there, center of the photo. The new building that's there, I don't know the name of it. It's not the Jenga building, is it? But it's, behind it, you can see some of the older, to the left, you can see the Frost building. So I figured out it was Austin. Might have fooled some people who didn't recognize it. I think that's an original treatment compared to the other skyline pictures that you usually see, because the point of view seems to be from a taller height instead of the lake shore down by the lake, where people include the reflections in the lake. So I'm not sure where they were, but I appreciated the close-up nature of it. The Bejeweled title really captures the glow of the windows, and it's sharp enough that you can almost kind of pretend you look around, carefully study it. In the judging, the software doesn't allow us to zoom in. Am I right, Mark? I tried several ways to zoom in.
Full screen is the only way.
Yeah, you can see the full screen. But I bet there might. I just wonder if some of it might be a person up in one of those windows. They don't believe in curtains, I guess, when you get on the 20th floor. Okay, now my thoughts here were, next time consider a stronger central focus, perhaps the point of view of Congress Avenue leading up to the Capitol. I rated this a very above average image with scores that were in the upper 80s and even 1 or 2, 3 in the 91 level. Great photo.
All right, thanks, Clay. Next is Galactic Tree. Safe from Laura. This is Steve.
Yep, that'd be me. I took a different approach on the sliders. I sat there with my dog and let him move my mouse around. And where they fell is where they fell. Now, in all seriousness. So on this, image that in the title, "Safe from Laura." I'm assuming this was taken sometime just before the hurricane came ashore somewhere. The composition, I would have liked to have seen maybe a better composition, maybe not just straight on, more angled, maybe getting the name of the boat in there, maybe getting it with the hurricane flag on there, giving it a little bit more of a story. Meets the theme, night shot. I did also notice that it was shot high ISO, so of course you're going to have a lot of noise in that black there, and maybe used lower ISO, slower shutter speed. Don't know how rough the water was, so that might not really work out if the boat was a rocking. But overall, that's what I would. A little bit better on the composition. Get different angle, maybe more to the right, more to the left. I think the front of the boat is to the right, and you're kind of missing the front of the boat there to get some more of it in. So, yeah, that's all I got really to say on this one.
Okay. Next is no Snickers at my Milky Way. Next is Stars on Stage. Charles?
Yeah. I was intrigued. I haven't done much, how shall I put this? I haven't done much concert shooting myself. Generally, I've done a couple of times, and it's been a real pain to get down there in the mosh pit. But I enjoyed, the contrast of
Nice pun there. Pain in the pit. It is a very painful thing to get into.
Yeah, it is. But it's not a spectacular photo. I mean, it's good for what it is. I like the contrast of the color of the drum and the guitar that's just sitting there, kind of extra, brought up a little contrast. But it looked to me like somebody got a little carried away with the stars. It looks like somebody added the stars filter in Photoshop or some other software, and it just got a little carried away. I mean, typically those are supposed to come up of like specular highlights, and they're coming up from places that they shouldn't. And I just thought that detracted from the overall photo. But still, I mean, a good photo. If you're into the band scene, just take it easy on the special effects. That was my opinion on that one.
Yep. Next is Palace, 1925. Or I don't know if that's the file number, but you got included. 360 Bridge.
Yeah, that's a picture I've just looked at. But actually, it's not the one I was supposed to give an oral comment on, but I liked it. I just wanted to say that.
All right. Noted. Scarlet Swoops. Charles? Hello? Is anybody out there?
I think we lost them.
No, say it ain't so.
I'm trying to convince it to unmute.
Oh, okay. You got it.
It was being reluctant there. This was a simple photo with just somebody doing light painting, obviously. But I thought it was so well done. I rated it very well, just because it looked like somebody had spent a lot of time practicing how you swoop to get these right. I've taken pictures of some, some light painting before, and it's not as easy as it looks. And I really like the way that the scarlet, contrasted with the black, completely black background, and how the red just kept crossing and recrossing itself. And so I rated it very well. I enjoyed it very much. I didn't, it's, it doesn't have it doesn't have a background or a foreground to help it. It just is what it is. But they just did an excellent job.
Okay. Next is Reflections on a Ghostly Wave.
Hey, Mark, let me just say something on this
Sure.
one here. Originally, I was going to do an oral on this one, but I decided not to because this image in the basic class, I mean, this is an unbelievable image. And I didn't really want to take away from the people in the basic class that wanted to learn, a little bit more about their photos. But overall, this is just, this is amazing.
No disagreement. There's a lot one can talk about there.
Yeah.
Okay. Next is Ghost Hut Explosion. And then and the last one in the bit, no, it's not the last. Airing out the nets and hiding from Laura. Still hiding from Laura. Moonshine.
That'd be me. Again, another moon shot, this time a full moon. The details there, love the detail in it. I think it could have used to be cropped in a little bit more on that, compositionally. And, just as something to think about, for future, is maybe adding some other elements, foreground, midground, to a moonshot like that.
I can't actually tell what the cropping is. You?
Yeah, we lost everything.
Yeah, I'm going to put it back up. I was trying to get to the uncropped version, but.
And maybe that might be, I can't see where the black ends or the cropping in it.
Sorry about that. All right. Any other comments on that?
Well, I thought it was really a sharp. I know that you have to technically be. I don't know. I forget whether it was done with a lens or whether it was actually a telescope. Probably a lens. Very sharp. Really. We had some other images we'll see in the next classes of moons. We've already seen one that was a 3/4 moon. I like the 3/4 because you could see the light comes from the side a bit, where you see a lot more of the shadowing and the details. But this is so sharp and neat. Yeah, I wished also that it had some perspective. It needed. I mean, foreground. I mean, these something against a building, or a backdrop. You could see whether it's really big moon, like that super moon.
Okay, thank you.
Can we move the cursor?
Yeah, sorry about that. That's don't worry. Yeah, just yell at me. I'll forget again.
So
okay.
I have this one to talk about. I selected it because it's intriguing. It's an image that hints at a story with the title, "The Back Door to Your Roots." Yeah, literally, cleverly, we can see the word roots down there. It's at the end of a golden bathed, lighted, boarded walkway between old buildings. We wonder perhaps if it was an entrance to a bar named The Roots. Technically, I liked it, especially it was well exposed and sharp focus overall. The perspective is strong with leading lines to see, that lead you right into the word at the back. Can't miss that. You can study the picture and see the texture in the walls. You can see the textures in the boardwalk on the quote unquote the pathway. It really struck me as an image that instills an emotion of curiosity, but there's no clue to really what it means. Kind of left short there. So if I were taking a picture or something like this and I was trying to get at a deeper meaning to the word roots or this image, or even thinking later, if I was handy with Photoshop and composites, you might consider boosting the originality and the creativity of this with added elements to make this title come alive by putting maybe an old couple or someone walking down that pathway toward the roots, something that would play on the idea that it's a journey of life going back to your roots, maybe. Maybe you'd put craggy, dead trees in the pots along the way, something that would give the suggestion of a journey. And I hope the photographer takes those as kindly positive suggestions. I rated it as a above average, strong image with the scores in the upper 70s and the lower 80s.
Okay, thanks for those comments. All right, well, that concludes the basic division presentation tonight. And well, we will go to the winners that the judges selected. And hopefully starting.
Most of these are a point or two apart at the most.
Okay, our first honorable mention, of which we have two of them tonight in this category, is Aaron Smith. Whoops, back up. I was talking too much. Honorable mention for No Snickers at My Milky Way by Verlin Smith. Very interesting image.
Good image.
Verlin, you out there? He may be muted.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, where is this?
This is Arches National Park near Moab, Utah.
Okay, gotcha. Well, it's a beautiful shot of the Milky Way and good foreground there. Really like it.
Arches is a neat place, yes.
Quick question for all the Milky Way photographers. This one shows the clouds as sort of a cream orange color. And I've seen other Milky Way images where it almost has magenta in the clouds or bluish white. How much of that is natural?
Well, the night sky is probably most accurately somewhere between tungsten and fluorescent. Generally, it depends on the time of the night, but generally it's somewhere between like 3,000 and 4,000 Kelvin. And to me, this one's a little bit warm. It's probably the white balance is a little bit too warm. A lot of that is it's so faint that it's not really captured. So a lot of that is brought out in different ways. It's there, but the Milky Way is such a flat, uncontrasty piece of the night sky. To bring it out, you really have to add contrast and some other tools. And so it's, is it technically there? Yeah, it's technically there, but a lot of it's enhanced a little bit more than that as well.
I don't think I'm rating people down for making their Milky Way colorful.
No, I didn't.
I individually color each star when I do them. Okay, this one is a really interesting picture too. This that we were talking about earlier. And it's an honorable mention for Reflections on a Ghostly Way by Charles Schwartz.
This was actually the Waller Creek show for 2019. So to add to the collection of other shots from Waller Creek, I got this one last year, and I don't know whether they're going to have one this year or not. I'll I'll miss it if they don't. I've been a couple of years, and I've enjoyed them each time.
I certainly love your choice of shutter speed here.
It's kinetic. In other words, those are moving paddles up and down.
Yes, they are. I enjoyed that part particularly, getting the, and I did spend some time, cloning out some of the extraneous stuff. But I did actually add a little extra, or actually reduce the clarity on this a little bit, because I wanted it to be blurrier. And I don't know whether that was a good choice or not, but I like it like that.
It certainly is ghostly.
It suggests the motion, and your title brings that out too. And it's actually in the Wallet Creek.
It is in motion. I added some blur to it as well, but it is blurred because of the motion, and of course the reflection in Waller Creek was, to me, what made the shot.
Well, this is this is an example of when the photographer has choices. He could have made he shot a lot sharper, but he purposely chose to accentuate the motion, and it really, really works. So you all keep that in mind.
And the wonderful thing about this show is there are better ones. This only made an honorable mention, so we've got better stuff than this.
And moving on to third place, from the other Waller Creek show is Michael Knox with Tension on Waller Creek. And as Clay so well described, this is really an interesting image that is well done, well crafted.
And I think, again, this shows the more of the context for the image as opposed to the ghostly wave that Charles did. I like the fact that it's got the context. You can see a lot more. That there's even some images, up in the upper left, there's some more of the images. It's art redefining the context of the environment.
And if Mark's out there, I didn't count off because of the pun.
Okay, good.
I thought it was clever, yeah.
Okay, here's another shot including the Milky Way by Nagaraju Fukuzula, and it's 360 bridge and won second place. Beautiful perspective, and I've shot from the same place, but I never saw the Milky Way.
Yeah, that impressed me. I wrote a critique for that one. I really studied it and imagined that view. I've been up in that spot. Maybe many of you have. But this captures that sky, and it's a great example of a night shot theme.
Yeah.
I haven't been brave enough to climb up there in the middle of the night.
Yeah, don't forget your headlamp. And first place, Agave Moonlight, again, Michael Knox. And this is just a really beautiful image. All right, is Michael out there?
Oh, I wish he was.
Yeah, I'd love to hear his thoughts about, what was going through his mind when he took this and how he did it, but
well deserved.
Yeah.
I wonder if he was thinking about the fine art photographer, and I can't recall the name, took the picture of the pear, or not the pear, the green pepper, black and white.
Edward Weston.
Edward Weston. Thank you. Yes.
I was thinking of Paul Stand and his irises, but okay.
Okay, so that was the basic group. We will now move on to intermediate, where we have 13 images. We're at 8 o'clock, so let's speed things up just a little so we can get through everything and have a few minutes for comments at the end. Let's see, back to quick scan. Oh, no, it's Q scan, excuse me. I made a new one. Okay. And show images, get cursor out of the way. Okay, New Mexico sky. Lamar Bridge lights. Old Torf at Congress. The Edge of Night. Evo and Barbecue. Supermoon 5/7/2020. Towers. Friday Night Downtown Lights. Night Night Austin. What's up, Danger? What's up, Danger? I hear you now. Gas up. Floating Dreams. All right. We'll go now through with the critiques. Okay, first is New Mexico Sky. That's Charles.
Presuming I managed to unmute it again. I was very impressed with the Starfield and the Milky Way on this one, and I thought that the fence in the foreground was an interesting contrast, but I thought it just came out a little too yellow, and then with the whatever the mountains and stuff in the bottom left corner, it just seemed to lose a little bit in the composition there. I probably would have, if I'd had this image, I probably would have cropped off a good deal of the left side of the image because it just kind of loses a little something that's not sure what's going on in the bottom left corner. And I think if it had been cropped in, it would have accentuated the Milky Way a little bit more. And I probably, now some of this could be cruddy monitors, but I think the fence is just a little too bright in the foreground for a night shot. So a couple of little things, but otherwise, I mean, I'm just very impressed with the Starfield itself.
Something. I'll know more about that. Next is Lamar Bridge Lights.
Surely somebody's going to talk about that one.
Nope, we're going to talk about this one.
Okay.
Okay. Holdsworth of Congress.
Yeah, I was fortunate. This is one of the pictures assigned to me. Somebody's got their mic open. Okay, I'll go ahead. So I'm struck by this image, rated it very highly because it has such an impact. It's the kind, again, where if you said to someone, oh, do you remember the picture of the black and white picture of the building, that had this incredible lighting and tonal shading and wow, and where are all the people? And is this a real building or is it a spaceship floating in the night? It's a strong entry for the night shots, and the composition is really strong with that long perspective, left and right. It's like your drawing teacher was telling you to use a vanishing point to do 3D and perspective. It really captures the architectural scene. The fact that there are no people or texts, signs, it must be, you're left wondering, it must be a new building under construction, or just did he erase all the people? But it tells the story to me of a lonely night. You're out by yourself. There's nobody around. You might even say it's an urban wasteland. The smooth tones are captured, and the tech shows that the photographer has really excellent technical skills with the exposure. Everything's sharp and in focus. The composition is right there. Perhaps the only minor distraction would be if you're going to, I know a lot of people say the center line is right through the middle of the image, the upper and lower thirds are equal, and maybe we could, for interest, but I think this shows where the image is so stable, it's solid, it's there. You're left looking straight at it on the corner of that 3/4 view.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of my top rated images.
Thanks, Clay. That's a great, great description. Critique. Okay. Next is The Edge of Night. Evo and Barbecue.
Mark, please move the cursor.
Hey, tell me 4 or 5 more times, I might remember.
All right, I think this one's mine. I like the contrast of the red neon, the blue sky. I think this is the new style switch or whatever that's going up in Cedar Park, maybe. Not too far from me. That I like that. Technically, composition, I might have went maybe with just the neon sign and the blue sky. Maybe waited a little longer, got some stars in it too. Maybe added a human element to it. Maybe somebody sitting on that bench. Maybe a lower perspective, shooting up, using some of those concrete lines as leading lines in there, and maybe a slightly different angle. But it's a nice shot of a building.
Okay. I got some interesting color scheme there with some complementary colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
like
some.
That.
It's not your urban wasteland.
No.
But it's empty.
Yeah, it's not as crowded as usual.
This may be a COVID entry.
Yeah, could be. Okay, next is Supermoon 5/7/2020.
I critique this image, but I'll pass on the oral tonight.
Okay.
Critique, that is.
Next is Towers. On Friday Night Downtown Lights.
Yep, that'll be me.
Okay.
Overall, technically, with the light trail, the car lights, the trails, love that part. They kind of create a leading line with it. Buildings are sharp. It is a nighttime shot. I like the star effect somewhat on the lamp post there. Might be a little overdone, but compositionally, those light trails are kind of leading you away from downtown and right into that bright lamp right there. So maybe lining up the shot differently would have made it compositionally a lot better for me. And yeah, that's really all I got to say with those leading lines right to that lamp are, it's like you don't even get to see the rest of the downtown city there.
Okay. Yeah, it's somewhat limited what you can do there. There's a bridge there, and I don't know how far to the left or right you can. Well, to the right you can get. I don't know how far you can get to the left though to get the better perspective there. It might be tough. This one is
Night Austin.
Night Austin.
So I'd like to say a few words about it. Again, our images submitted this this time brought out a lot of landscape with no people in them. But here's another wonderful picture of our city with the new skyline, which for most of us, I mean, who've been living here for a while, we look at it and we just, oh, this is so unfamiliar to see this skyline with these new buildings, the Jenga tower on the left. Interesting part, I think, for a photographer is how to raise the bar in taking a picture of this beautiful skyline. We see this one is very, it captures a brightly lit scene. There's a heavy layer of sculpted clouds above it, which is interesting since sometimes we don't get much rain, so there's possibilities there, like today. The golden lights of the building are reflected in the water. The horizon is level, good, got that. Slightly below middle, so it's not dead center in the middle. Nice, strong, good composition there. Many of the window lights, however, seem exposed, overexposed. There's some flare and not sharp. Whereas on the right side, actually, I appreciate the sharpness of the image on the right. On the left, I'm bothered a little bit by the Jenga tower and those windows at the bottom that are overexposed and blown out. So we've seen some other images tonight where every part of the image was sharp. So I think a photographer can work on that. Found the clouds to be somewhat a distraction from the, since they're so prominent. Maybe is that over sharpening or adjustments? I find that I move my eye moves left and right and back, and I don't have a central focus, except just, of course, we always kind of look at the middle of pictures, but I didn't find a subject that was really drawing me in because it was interested. So you could, this photographer, although they've submitted a very good image, again, we have a choice of average, above average, very above average, and then we have freaking awesome at the top. This is a average to above average, and they can work harder by perhaps thinking of a different point of view. Maybe what would it be like to take the picture from a boat instead of standing on the far shore? And they could look for a time to do the skyline, really take a time when maybe the sky is not so distracting, or at least use the sky as another element. And they might choose a more central focus, looking for a time of year, maybe when we've got Christmas lights or other kinds of colored lights that draw the eye, instead of all yellow and white. Good job.
Next is What's Up, Danger? What's up, Danger? What's up, Danger?
Well, I didn't find it that humorous, actually. I thought it created a tremendous amount of tension. I mean, here we have this man literally playing with fire, and that's kind of a primal thing that we all kind of feel. And, is he going to catch it? Yeah, we know he is, but is he going to burn himself? It's one of those things that just kind of brings itself. It creates a tension, it creates emotion just because it's fire. And then the way it's exposed with the fire, lighting from above the body in the ground, and the way the body is posed and moving in all those directions, and the lines leading you up to the man and his fire wand. I mean, it brings the focus right to the center. I just, I think it's very well done.
Yeah, I'm looking at this, and this is taken under pretty dark conditions, it seems, and yet the motion is pretty well frozen, at least in the human subject. The flames, a different story, but I like that. Okay, next is I Hear You Now. Oh, I hear you now.
I hear you now. All right, this is me. I really like this image. You kind of got the rule of odds going on there. You got the three dishes. I don't know, are they TV, satellite dishes, radio telescopes? You got the razor wire around there. Some may say that might be distracting with the fence, maybe, but the red contrasting against the dark sky, um, the star effect, which you get. You got to have your aperture closed and long exposure to get that. And yeah, so just overall, I'm a big sci-fi nut too, so it kind of reminded me of a sci-fi movie or something. Listening for Godzilla or something like that. So you kind of got a
I saw
story
that
there.
one. That was a great movie.
Man, I've driven past these things like 400 times, and I've always wanted to stop and take a photo of them, and I'm jealous that this person beat me to it.
Where is this then?
It's just south of Code off 130.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I guess maybe the Coda uses it for TV transmissions around the world.
This is satellite. This has got to be satellite down and uplink.
Yeah.
Probably put in just because Coda's there, because apart from this year, many times a year, all the networks show up to cover the races. But I just I like the way that the red color got reflected off the dishes and off the clouds. I thought that tied it together, and I actually like the silver of the razor wire in the foreground as a contrast. I think that and the uprights of the fence actually push you up into the dishes. So if you're going to have to have a fence in the way, which you gotta for a multi-million-dollar facility like that, you might as well have a pretty fence.
Yeah.
I think is it Josh's? Is it Josh's? We have elements of three. Elements of three make a nice composition, Josh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's called the rule of odds. 1 3s, 5 7s are better than 2s, 4s, and 6s.
Yeah. The only thing maybe if that other dish was turned around too, facing the same way, but overall, still, I like this image.
I hate it when the dishes don't pose for us.
Yeah, really.
It's not a beauty dish.
They're clearly pointing at different satellites, so yeah.
There is that problem. Next is gas up.
Yeah, that's my goal to talk about this one a little bit. There's another couple of similar images in the group, and I chose this one because over the other the pictures of buildings at night, because it has such a strong Texas nostalgia story that goes with it. You can imagine the back roads of Texas where we've got this gas station and that old pump in front that's clearly visible. It's got very bold colors. I felt it had strong composition where the building is slightly off to the left. The triangle points of the roof line points up. You have the trees making an irregular skyline horizon, and then you have this wonderful blue shading graduated up to a darker blue. So it's either, I'm not sure if it's sunrise or sunset. Probably, I'm going to guess sunset, but it's a golden hour, slightly after the golden hour. And the colors are nicely saturated. It shows a lot of technical ability with the exposure and focus to get everything clear. So as a viewer, you can really explore this image and enjoy the texture of the stone around the Texaco symbol. And also in the porch, you can see the textures, and even in the road surface. So the title, Gas Up, is clear, and this shot clearly is a night shot, and I rated it very above average in practically all the categories.
Y'all know whose studio that is, right?
No.
That's Dan Winter's studio.
Who's Dan Winters?
What?
I'm sorry. You mean the guitar player? The
Okay. All right. So brief aside here, Dan Winters is probably one of the greatest portrait artists alive today. He has shot things like yeah, look up Dan Winters photography. He has shot things like for Vanity Fair, Golf Digest, a couple other things. I have 3 of his books sitting on my shelf. Anyway, one of the best known. He shot like Time magazine covers. Anyway, he's up there, top 5.
You're not a fan, Josh, right? You're not.
So really funny. So my dad has a construction company. He calls me a week after. He's like, "Yeah, we did a photo shoot with this guy. They wanted to rent some of our equipment." And I was like, "Cool. You didn't think to call me?" And he's like, "Yeah, I thought about it, but whatever." And I was like, "Well, who was it?" He goes, some guy. I think his name was like Dan Winters or something. So my dad was on set with him for 2 days, and he didn't invite me.
Oh.
Is this located somewhere close by where you drive by? Am I right about it being a Texas?
Yeah, it's
highway?
in Driftwood. It's right over by the Salt Lick. It's right over by the original Salt Lick.
I'm pretty positive this was also used in the remake of Texas Chainsaw.
I don't know that, but I know Stan. I know Stan Worshworth.
I'll stick with the awesome. This is a great picture, and I'm sure that you'll never forgive your dad for not calling him.
I have not. I bring it up every time. I see him.
Good shot. And last of this category is Floating Dreams. Yes.
Okay, so this one just blew me away. I mean, the just kind of golden glow, and the way it had directionality, just kind of moving through the whole image, and the play of light on the water, and then kind of the way it concentrated. It focused right there in the center. Had it fade forward, and kind of that little extra focus right in the middle to blur out the front and the back. Really added some extra interest to the middle of it, and all the messages, and the way they just reflect upon the water and just share with everybody else. I fell in love with this image. It's just it was picking the right spot and just nailing it as far as I was concerned.
Okay. All right. So let's figure out who won this thing. So we have one honorable mention, and that's for Brian Nixon. What's up? Danger?
That was actually taken at Ion Arts. They have every year they have an installation at their business that showcases their neon work, and that was at the Surreal Sea last year.
Cool. You got touch with the performing artists. Second place. No, what happened to third place?
You skipped it. That's the Old
Third
Turf.
place. There we go. And Old Turf at Congress. Brian Nixon again.
Taken at 4 a.m. in the morning on my way to work. I drove by it, stopped, and took a picture of it.
Why are there no signs? Is this under construction?
This
No
is
lettering?
an old. This is an old strip mall that has been at that location for decades, and HEB is currently in the process of converting it to be their temporary store while they redo the Old Torf and Congress store.
How many pictures did you take of the location? Is this the one and only, or were there a whole bunch that you could choose from?
I took 3 different shots. One of them was straight on, and then there was one, I remembered it because you mentioned the comment about the line being straight in the center. There's one that was slightly off, but it didn't have that parallax going to the right as much. So I went with this one.
Did you use any black and white filters, or what do you call them?
I shoot all my images in monochrome, and because I shoot a lot of concert photography, and that way it shows me the details without getting distracted by the colors. And I just happened to have it in monochrome when I took it out. I was half asleep when I took this photo, to be honest. But
so it's in camera, black
yes.
and white. Cool.
I mean, obviously in Lightroom I did some work on it, but yeah.
Great exposure.
I was also impressed on the way you used the reflections from the parking stripes. I thought they added an extra leading line element to the picture that wouldn't have been the same with a bare parking lot.
No, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, and second place, excuse me, is Patty Robertson, Gas Up. Beautiful picture. I love the lighting on this. And really well done. And first place is Nick Grossman, Floating Dreams. Just a great idea.
Just an awesome picture. Is Nick with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, that was the Lantern Festival at Moolah Park just before lockdown started. And they had 1,000 people probably holding lanterns, and they all suddenly surged towards the lake and set them off floating. And I was lying on the grass trying not to dip my camera in the water, getting some shots.
Good job. I almost glowed as much as the picture. Did I do well enough for you?
Yeah, well done.
Okay, so we'll move on to the advanced category. We have 18 images here, so well, again, caution the judges to make the comments speedy, it's not brief. We'll go with scan and 18 images. Enchanted. Roosevelt Arch, Yellowstone. Desert Night Sky. Deep in the heart of Texas. Moving through time. Red, white, and blue. Time and time again. Miami Nights. Rocky Mountain Retreat. Homestead. Mumbai Bridge. Starry Night over Grand Canyon Watchtower. Milky Way over Old Crabapple Church. Model at Night. Infinite Universe. Circles of My Heart. She Summons. And your guess is as good as mine.
Cursor.
You look it up. Well, I need it one more time here. Okay, so we will go to the judges' comments. And everybody can see my cursor except me. Okay, first image is Enchanted.
I critiqued the image. but I'll pass on the oral comments just to say the photographer did a
Okay.
very nice job capturing the scene.
Okie doke. Next is Roosevelt Arch, Yellowstone.
That would be me. All right. So, I had to go look this one up. I didn't remember the Roosevelt Arch, but it's well written about. I found this image just kind of amazing about how we managed to frame. I'm assuming that's the moon looking through the clouds over there. I was just very impressed how we got to frame it like that, and how well we lit the arch and the surrounding, well, actually rather barren terrain. That area of Yellowstone is actually known for being rather arid. But I was just very impressed of how we got that thing shooting up in the stars like that. Great light background, all of it well lit. I mean, it was very impressive. I really had trouble choosing between it and a number of other images. There were so much good stuff in this category.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, agreed. Beautiful. Boy, you had to be good timing on this one. Desert Night Sky. This doesn't happen very often.
It's not desert. It's not desert. It's dessert.
Oh.
Oh, that's even
more. Dessert has two S's.
Oh.
Very clever.
We were too much punishment there. It probably got rated down for that.
Yeah. Next is Deep in the Heart of Texas.
Okay, I'll say a few words about this one. For those who wondered about the title, you'd have to know, perhaps by having gone there and looked up, it's the UT Tower. That's what I think anyway. Not sure about the ones on the left and the right, but I'm looking up to the moon and thinking from the that it might be the UT Tower, so that it kind of gets to the title, Deep in the Heart of. It's a striking image with unusual angle perspective looking up to the moon. Question mark, real moon? Black. It's a black inky sky with brilliant, well-exposed full moon. Buildings tower up and frame the center with a dynamic set of diagonals. The exposure brings out the building texture, strong composition, and originality, even if it might be a Photoshop recipe. Fits the theme of Nightshots very well. I was slightly distracted by the blurry white light streaks of the cloud, and if I were a photographer thinking about this, how to do it in a different way, I might try more realistic with transparent light cloud cover, just to fool the people even more.
Okay.
I wasn't bothered by the cloud streaks. I thought they added something to it, frankly. And yes, that's definitely the tower, although I can't remember what side it's from.
It's on the moon side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dark side of the moon.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I actually appreciated how the moon. I appreciated the moon being partially cut off. I thought that added to the compositional element.
Okay, moving on to Moving Through Time. And next is Red, White, and Blue. And next is Time and Time Again. And next is Miami Nights. Charles.
Yeah, I think I've got that one. So this was one of those just kind of spectacular panoramas that you couldn't help but enjoy. I mean, it's a story. It's told over and over again. I mean, how Miami fighting the sea, and even though the sea is going to come take it here in probably the next few decades, they're still building stuff. People so proud of it. They've got all the lights reflecting in the water, and then up front, you've got this. It looks like a dredge, but you got this dredge, fighting the sea, even though it lives off the sea. I mean, it's just the story is everywhere, and I also like the way the clouds. It looks like a longer exposure. I like the way the city lit up the clouds above it. I was just very impressed by the the beauty of it and the story being told.
Really dramatic and stunning, I'd say. Next, another fascinating image, Rocky Mountain Retreat.
Yeah, I'd like to talk a little about that. I see a warm golden mountain cabin with peaked roof in a deep forest. The night sky is a circular swirl of stars, with the North Star center in the upper right. Strong composition with dynamic diagonals of the roof pointing to the North Star. The photographer had to be aware of that because it's not quite a level horizon. They've maybe tilted slightly, or maybe they did that post-processing, but that's clever that the angle of the roof points up. The warm colors complement the dark sky, the orange, the yellow, the inside, the windows are lit. We could think of the story made me think of a Colorado stillness and a forest isolation, but you could retreat from the cold into that warm cabin. I think it'd be fun to use this picture with children and say, look, the world is turning, because we really, really see it here in this exposure with the circular rotation. So it's an astrophysical lesson. I was looking for distracting elements. I thought maybe a satellite or a plane or something crossing by, but no, they got a really nice sky there. The night photo fits the theme extremely well, and one of my top choice entries with all the scores in the very above average and awesome categories.
It has a very impressionist feel to it also.
You should call it Starry, Starry Night.
Yes, you could have. Yes.
It looked. I'm sorry, my science fiction background keeps coming in there. It looks to me like that cabin is about to be sucked into a wormhole.
The time tunnel.
Yes. Or something Doctor Who would do.
David Lynch fans out there, it's like the red room at the vortex almost.
That's really, really cool. Okay, next is Homestead.
Yep, that'd be me.
All right.
Of course, yeah, it meets the theme. I know that orange glow in the background is probably some distant city lights off somewhere in the distance. I like the light painting, bringing out the trees, maybe tone it down just a little bit, and then how it fades off on the sides into the black. You got the stars. I'm not big into the color theory. Well, I'm just kind of learning the color theory myself, so I don't know if it's either too warm maybe or too white, but I still like the way it's light painted.
Yeah, me too. All right. Next is Mumbai Bridge. I don't think we're in Austin anymore. I was thinking it was Dallas, but I guess it's India.
I'm assuming it's in Mumbai, and I looked it up on the internet, and it's an impressive place to go. Obviously, we're dealing with a world traveler here. I really wasn't supposed to comment on that on this one, but I did like it. I liked it a lot. It had a few defects in it that kind of graded it down a little bit. There's a lot of noise in it, and I wasn't sure whether I I dislike the reflection in the windshield or not. But I could tell somebody was shooting this from a windshield, and I hope they weren't the one driving. But it's an amazing. It is still an amazing image, even if it didn't win.
Cool. All right. Next is Starry Night over Grand Canyon Watchtower. I believe that's Stephen.
Yep, that's me. Again, kind of like that other picture. You can see the star trails circling around there. You got a good foreground element. I think I've actually driven by here many years ago before I was actually into photography, so I probably didn't pay any attention to it. The towers lit up, so you kind of see some detail in there. Maybe it could have been lit a little bit more. I know this is probably just a spotlight on the side of the tower, but you know, doing a little bit more light painting, get maybe a little of the detail in some of that bushes there in the front and that. But overall, great composition. I like how the towers there is in that that third, that left-hand third there, and then everything circling around the North Star there, and the right third there. So yeah, overall, and I'd be curious to find out how many images this actually was combined into one.
We may find out later. Milky Way over Old Crabapple Church.
This is the picture I critiqued, but I'll pass on the oral critique. Just that this is the one I was thinking about when I asked the question about what's the natural color of the Milky Way, Josh.
I mean, it's there. A lot of the colors there. It's brought out in processing. It's not. Your raw file won't look like this at all. But it's just so faint. Everything's just very faint and very low contrast. That when you increase the contrast and increase the localized contrast and saturation, you'll start getting some of that out. So some of it's also painted in. I think some of it, especially. Well, not especially in this one. I do it too, but it's probably been painted in with magenta or some red in there as well. Because it's not in this area, it doesn't look that good, especially with those low-lying clouds. It wasn't that clear of a night to get that much color out of the raw file. I'm guessing because that was taken within 2 hours of here. So
next is Model at Night.
Yeah, that'd be me again. I'm probably one of those that don't like shooting people either. But that being said, I wanted to try my hand at critiquing this. I really liked it. I like that she's not looking directly at the camera. You still get some of that specular highlights in the eyes. That twinkle in the eyes there. The hair is kind of frizzy. Was it windy? Wasn't it windy? Was it a long day? What is she looking at? She's looking over the rail of something. I kind of like the way the light, those rope lights, and that metal barricade there. Those lines lead you towards her. Nothing really looks blown out. And so, yeah, I like this one. I want to try to start doing things like this myself.
Yeah, I really like the tonal range. I mean, you've got top of the whites and bottom of the blacks, and it looks great. Okay, next is Infinite Universe. Charles?
Okay, that one appears to be mine. I was impressed with this. I think my imagination kind of took hold because what I see here is it seems to me like we see that the trees here are watching the universe go by, and they're the only ones that are old enough to actually see it go by. And that's kind of this leaning tree in the foreground, and the ones in the background, they're all looking up at the galaxy, was what I saw. Very well done sky. And then down in the foreground, we got some, we got some lines, going the angles and leading us up to the lake before we get to the angle going across the other way from the galaxy. I thought it was excellently composed, well done, tells the story. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, it's very cool. I didn't catch the part about the trees, but now I'm looking at it. It looked like they're all looking up in awe.
I think I read Lord of the Rings too many times.
Yeah, maybe. Next, Circles of My Heart.
Yeah, I chose this to talk about because I felt the title and the originality of capturing this design for the night shot theme definitely belongs in the advanced class. The technical skills for the photographer are definitely there. So the Circles of My Heart, I can see, I'm assuming this is a wedding photograph, and you'd have to tell the couple, hey, I got this great idea. Let's try it out. You'll love it. So it combines a light stick swung. I'm imagining someone runs along behind them and swinging the light stick in circular patterns while you have a flash off to the side, and the couple's there. And so it's technically, and then you've got the reflections in the water. All of this takes planning. It also takes a vision, and then selling it to the client. I think it's a terrific photo on those levels. However, I deign to have the hubris to offer my humble suggestions for upgrades to this photo if they were going to try this again. Instead of getting a warm, romantic feeling from the Circles of My Heart, I felt the blue was cold and led me to be detached, and the exposure doesn't capture. I mean, you can't see what it is. They're circles, I guess, the lights. But I would have chosen a pink or a red, and I would have posed the couple looking at each other and perhaps hugging, trying to develop a more romantic feel, where they really enjoy being there. So I think that's when I would try again. And also I would try a tighter crop. On the left side of the picture, I don't see much there to keep it. And you lose some of the centrality and focus on the couple because they're small, quite small compared to the rest of the image. So if you're wanting to look at the couple, you really have to strain your eyes to look at them, and they're not really happy. They don't look happy to be looking at each other. So I would suggest a portrait orientation so that we really lose the left side of the frame, and we could focus on the couple. Still got the blue circles, or maybe I would change them to pink or red and have them hugging and kissing. But a strong image.
Well, thanks for that's a lot to think about. All right, next is She Summons. Very interesting and creative. Or maybe that's just her normal Friday night.
Little TVs.
Yeah. And boy, you guys have to pronounce this one. Yeah. I think it's called Woo. That's the one. That's the part I can pronounce. And do we have anybody commenting on this one? Okay. Woo. Well, another night scene with some interesting stars in the sky, and
I don't think anybody was willing to try to pronounce it.
Yeah, that probably was too much of a challenge.
I did Google it, so it's somewhere over in Southeast Asia.
There's that one star that looks just like a mouse cursor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
It's a cursed cursor.
I promised you would see it again. I was right.
I think it's in Bangladesh, but
I was going to say
Myanmar.
Yeah.
Myanmar.
Okay. Old guy.
All right. Well, let's go to the winners. Focus selections. Okay. Show images. Move cursor. All right. We have 5. Excuse me. We should have 2 honorable mentions here. First honorable mention is Mary Day Long, where she summons. So, Mary, tell us, is this what you normally do?
On a Friday night?
I spent a month rehabbing my pool.
You got a lot of pictures out of that pool.
And I took a lot of pictures, and every day I would try to think of something weird and new to do, and this is one of my favorites.
Very creative. Really like it. Now, is that just dark water at the end of the pool then?
Yes, it's mucky water at the end of the bottom of the pool.
Okay, that's where the evil spirits live.
That's right.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
it looked like someone was something, or well, I'm not sure what was going to emerge out from there, and I was, and
I wasn't either.
I think that's her septic tank draining into it. I don't know. Okay. Next honorable mention is Model at Night by Alan Irby. Alan, congratulations.
Yeah.
You there, Alan? You were earlier.
I am.
He's here.
Got anything to say of interest here?
Well, it was a precision camera model shoot on the boat that goes underneath the Congress bats.
Okay.
So we had to contend with that for a little bit. But yeah, she was wind blown, as somebody pointed out. It was a challenging shoot at some point. It started out in daylight, but then I actually appreciated the shooting in these conditions because it wasn't easy to do.
Well, it came out really well exposed. Nice composition too.
I kept looking at it. I keep wondering whether the triangles are a permanent or a temporary tattoo on the wrist.
I think those were permanent.
Okay, it's just interesting. Somewhat. Sometimes those are just. I didn't know whether that was creating interest or whether it was a distraction. I could see it either way.
Oh, well, it matches the rope light triangle. That was all
planned.
A little repetition there. Thank you.
Third place, Rocky Mountain Retreat, Stephen Brkich. I happen to know, Stephen, that you did not see that house pointing to the North Star.
Yeah, I know. You heard Josh say some mean things about this.
Yeah.
If you noticed, I did bring out more detail on that left-hand side.
I noticed that. I was going to bring that up. Good job.
Yeah.
And I did notice that somewhere in there, because when I set my camera up and I went to bed, a coyote came and bumped the tripod. So I had a hell of a time trying to line up some of these shots.
No.
But if you look in that window, see where that blanket's hanging up on the wall there?
Yeah.
Well, this picture is hanging up in that spot right now.
Oh, cool.
So, now, Brian, this is the place I stayed at. This is behind the Stanley. When I was up there.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
And the inside was lit up. I did try to do a little light painting inside. I had a light wand, a little blue light, some blue light, and also I think my wife was up watching TV. I just set it up and went to bed. This is about, I don't know, a little over 100 shots all combined together.
What you need to go do is go back to this location, create everything, but make sure that you have the window available to show that the picture is actually
Yeah.
in the house.
Yeah.
Actually, this is my boss's house up there.
Go Inception level, right?
Yeah.
Neat.
Awesome.
Okay, second place, deep in the heart of Texas.
Mark Laussade.
Yeah, Mark.
Yeah, that's good.
I like that Kelby.
Yeah,
Kelby
I
effect.
did. You know, I'm going to have to write him now that I got a couple of winners with this technique.
So which side of the building was it?
Yeah,
it's
and
the west side.
Okay.
And you know, in between, it's on the west, on the back side. It's on the back of the, but it's on the west side of the tower. So,
That the union behind us?
well, you see, behind us would be the union would be to our back. There's a AC, or what they used to call the AC when I was there. Academic Center is behind us, and a wing of the main building is immediately behind us. And you know, as far as the clouds go, I agree with both of you. I wanted to have clouds in there, but I think they could be better clouds, and I may work on that in the future. Or another, I've got some other building shots I want to keep trying, but I really like this. And
so was the moon? Was this all in camera, or is this
the moon's composited? It's a daytime shot, you know, way overcast, and it's just a technique that you can use to make day look like night. And I really, you know, it works really well for me with architecture. And the more interesting the building, the better the shot. You know, it's just, but just with all this detail in this particular building, I thought it was, you know.
Thank you for sharing that detail on how you created that, because I've been using that technique on a couple of shots, and I really like what you're doing.
Good. It's a lot of fun, and it's.
Where did you share the technique? Was it
only with my friends, Clay?
Oh, okay, just your friends.
You voted for you, aren't we your friends?
Actually, he shared it about 3 or 4 meetings ago.
I'm selling some friend cards for $15 a piece. So
zing!
I will let you know.
Zing!
Join his Patreon.
All right, and not last but not least is an amazing shot by Haitham Samarchi, the Miami Nights shot. Detail just doesn't explain this picture. I mean, it's phenomenal. I wonder a little bit.
Good stuff.
I wonder a little bit if any of this was long exposure because of how smooth that water is, but the boat's not moving, and there's some ripples in the water to the left, so maybe it wasn't long exposure.
I thought it was like
it's an HDR. It's an HDR, and that's why you get some of it with static waves and some of it with long waves.
Okay.
It's in the blend, so when you blend, it's like in Lightroom when they try to do the yeah. So
it wasn't. So it's fairly short exposure then.
No, it's multiple exposures.
Well, yeah, multiple exposures, but they're not long exposures.
One of them is to get on the right hand side.
Oh, okay, I see. You used the long one and just told them to register on that part for the image. Okay, gotcha.
I thought during judging it said something like 6 seconds.
Oh, okay. Oh, thanks for that.
But like that's why you have some weird details like underneath on the lower right. Like some of it looks smooth and some of it looks sharp. That's from the blend, not blending, right?
Okay. Or was it? Okay. Can you now on some of these programs you can actually select what shows up, right?
Somewhat.
Yeah. Okay.
Somewhat.
Anyway, very, very cool. You know, almost hyper realistic.
I think what's impressive also is when I saw it first in a 16:9 full screen. In terms of the other images we look at tonight, this one is stretched out, almost panoramic. In cropping.
I've got a 32-inch screen and it's filling out. It looks fantastic. I think I'll keep it. Okay. So we have one more thing to discuss, and that's the People's Choice votes. We'll go to all 3 categories and look for People's Choice. And I don't know what order it's going to pick them in, so we'll just take what it gives us. Okay, it starts off with advanced. And time and time again, Josh Baker. Oops, put this back on there. Josh, anything to say?
My 9-year-old helped me light paint this one, so that was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. He was a trooper, man. He stayed out till like 11:30 helping us do light painting. He was there for Stephen's vertical panorama, which was taken in almost the identical shot, just 90 degrees to the right.
He had his headlamp on. That's what lit up the tree in mine.
Yeah. So he was very excited.
Ranch?
Yeah, it's Reveille Peak. Yeah, it's Reveille Peak.
Okay.
So yeah, this is a light. So this is a light wand. Foreground is one exposure with blue and yellow, and then it's about 110 stars in the back blended down to just be kind of a more subtle star trail.
Great, nicely done. The silver medal goes to Dennis Bosserman for another amazing image.
Yeah. Thank you. My friend had his Suburban pulled up with his headlights shining on the wall. That's how the lighting came out.
How about the background? Is this headlights too?
Well, actually, it's the lights from the city are shining out that way, and it just reflected off the snow.
Yeah, Gardner's just on the other side.
Yeah.
What I mean is this. Well, maybe I should say midground, not the background. This strip of brown grass. That's what it is, I guess. It's all brightly lit. I mean, is there?
Yeah, I mean, the light really reflects from the city. And if you have a long exposure, and that's what this was, pretty long exposure. I don't remember exactly, but that really, really lights it up.
Well, that's really cool.
And there's kind of a reddish tinge over here to the right of the door.
I had my red light on my headlight, and that happened to be reflected there a little bit. I should have turned it off.
And I'm assuming that was a conscious decision that you stood where you could see the moon through the gate.
I did, and that kind of gave the warped look up to the gate. But I actually like the way that turned out.
It gives it some extra perspective. It adds to the picture.
It turned out really well. And last is this one again. All right. Well, I want to thank my judges once more for such a great job. Clay, first time. We should be doing this every time. Honestly, you've listened to a lot of critiques over the years and decided what you liked and what you didn't like and come up with a great style of your own. So keep it up. We'll look forward to having you again. Thanks, Stephen. Excellent work as always. We love your comments.
And as always, a reminder: everybody should judge.
Yeah,
it's a good experience, actually.
Yeah,
it is a good experience. It is a lot of work, though. I was going to ask Mark if you were going to cover the intermediate and basic.
Oh yes, that's right.
Now that you've got your win, with your goal there, are you going to cover the intermediate and the basic People's Choice as well?
Wouldn't you rather just stare at this?
What's that?
I think we should just stare at this for the rest of the night. Okay.
Do I need to open a second session? We'll put it on another book.
I'm sorry. We get to advance, and I think we're done, and it throws me off. So basic, we have bronze medal for Ronnie Duke.
Right.
Sorry here. Okay, Ronnie, congratulations. Are you there?
We're running long.
I am. Yeah, no, I'm here.
What lens did you use for this?
I'm sorry, what?
What lens?
It is the Sigma 150 to 600.
Ah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
I like the choice of the quarter moon or half moon, so you do have that shaping by the shadows. Nice.
And
a lot more detail when it's not a full moon.
You can see the ecliptic.
Yes, like that. Yes.
Very nice.
Thanks.
The silver medal goes to Verlin Smith for cheesiest title, but it's a picture. And first place goes to Michael Knox, gold medal, retention at Waller Creek Show. We don't have enough superlatives for this. Very nice. And
Good pun. Good pun.
yeah. And the intermediate group, we always save the best for last. Bronze is Patty Robertson for Gas Up. Just like I said before, I love the way the lights come out on this. It's really, really great. Lots of detail and just super exposure colors. Patty, you out there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Here I am. Thank you.
Is this something you've been planning or just came across?
No, I planned it, and let me tell you, it was a little dicey because putting in a ditch across the street, and it's starting to get dark, and the traffic is going by in front of me really fast. And I didn't have a light on me or anything, so I didn't stay later than that you can tell because of that. But I did try some different angles, and I think somebody said earlier, well, if you moved over to the right, you could have gotten that pump better. But I like this angle better because it's kind of, it's not straight on. And if you look, you can find this image on the internet, and you'll see a lot of straight on shots. So I just kind of moved over to the left, and I was more comfortable with that, and I wanted something that was not completely centered.
Well,
did you know it was a famous photography studio?
Yeah, I did. Afterwards, I found out. Someone told me.
The police came to get her for stalking.
Yeah, I didn't know it was actually this building. I thought it was maybe the one to the right because this one looked pretty deserted. But I have also taken this image and put a nighttime star background in it. A composite, and I like that version too, but I didn't think I could use that for this. So
is it an evening shot after sunset or sunrise?
It's a sunset.
Okay, I thought so, but I wasn't sure.
What's funny about this location is right across the street where she's sitting is a wedding venue, and that road in front of her is like super busy all the time, and so it's always funny watching people try to like go take their wedding photos in front of it, and like a bride and groom with a big dress trying to cross this like busy road. I can't believe somebody hasn't been hit there. Like, it's so dangerous.
Pretty dangerous.
It is.
I spent an inordinate amount of time taking out the telephone wires. There are a lot of telephone wires in front of this building.
Well done.
Good job.
Yeah.
Hours, probably hours in Photoshop taking those wires out.
Well,
thank y'all.
It was worth your effort. And silver medal goes to Jerry Zerks for New Mexico Sky. Is Jerry here? Those stars, I mean, they are, I've never seen stars that bright in a picture, especially with headlights in front. That's something. Anyway, very well done. And the gold medal goes to Calvin Poole for I Hear You Now.
Way to go, Calvin.
Yeah, strong work.
Excellent.
Is Calvin here? Okay, probably not. Well, we'll have to let him know how we appreciated his image. That red really looks cool on there. All right, well, that concludes tonight's competition. Again, thank our judges, thank all the people who participated in the People's Choice, and all the photographers for submitting such a strong body of work. It really is entertaining. And
Go basic class.
Yeah. We're
No kidding.
and after November's competition, we're going to have a little discussion about. We got to kick out of the basic class because there's some strong work down there.
There's going to be some Premier League promotion and relegation.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, so next month's competition, I believe, is October 1st, which is the first Thursday, and it's an open theme. So any image taken within 2 years prior to October 1st will qualify, and go through your archives. If you don't have, well, better yet, find something new.
Get out there and shoot.
Yeah.
Something new, and show us your best stuff. But any other comments from the peanut gallery?
No.
No, just
thank you, Josh.
No, just again, just it's so fun seeing everybody submit, and I know night's a little bit harder. It's harder, especially as we're getting longer and longer into COVID. It's harder and harder to go out and shoot. So, but I'm so happy of theme nights are always harder. But I think we had a really, really good lineup. So it's just fun to see what everybody's coming up with. It's just a testament to the competition that we're breeding. As we all submit, we're all getting stronger because we all want to win. And so I think having that competition and camaraderie, I think it's just good fuel. So my challenge to everybody is only submit within the last photo you took within the last month.
Intentional photograph.
Because the point is to go out and shoot.
Yeah.
Clay, do you have anything to say or to repeat about elections and nominations and all that?
Oh, I'm not sure I'm the one to do that, but yes, we do have a slate of officer elections to consider, and all positions are open. We have president, vice president, and then we have standing. We have president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary membership. Those positions, everybody serves a year term. You can renew, but it's really good. We need new blood. We need new people coming in. We communicate through Slack. I want to say, yes, Slack. That's right. And so it's great to keep in touch. We haven't had face-to-face meetings for COVID, but people have stepped up to take on their responsibilities and roles, and so the club is benefiting from strong leadership this year. And we know that we need a treasurer. And we welcome, we have program committee, petition committee, and marketing. Ed, thanks so much for all the work you do in getting us hosted tonight and keeping our website current. The committee idea was that we'd elect program chairs or committee chairs, and then other members would volunteer, and you'd have a few strong right arms for each position. We'd like to see more of that. That way you get to know what the office entails, and if the coordinator has a schedule problem or conflict or work, you can step in. And the other thing I was going to say is how impressive it's been to have Ed and Mark as competition committee document what they are doing and things that, how to do them. So anyone who comes in, either a committee member or judge, can read some of the things they've written. The treasurer's written some things, and I'm going to write some things on the membership committee, on the membership position. Anyway, we haven't had a discussion with the leadership exactly when the voting election day is, right, Josh? But we know that according to the bylaws, it needs to be in October, I believe.
Yeah, we should probably so if you're interested, you should probably be submitting your name. Let us know that you want to run. And then, probably, I think the actual voting's October, right?
Yeah,
I believe.
Last year.
Yeah.
It's not the first Tuesday in November?
No. No, there's enough going on that day.
Hey, we're all in the voting mode. We might as well, right?
Yeah. No, we're going to try to get ahead of everything.
Are we going to do mail-in voting?
We're going to go better than that. We'll probably do internet voting.
No, there'll be fraud with the mail-in voting. We can't do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Millions of votes.
Just be sure and vote twice now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's vote early, vote often.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I think that's the Chicago Photo Club's mantra.
Quick footnote also to say that some renewals will be happening, and Ed has worked up a wonderful system through the website. Our new Visual Pursuits website has automatic renewals sent, and we want to recognize Vance Strickland for being our first renewal for 2021.
Hey, Vance.
And anyone can renew now. It should work and put you up to a new date like January 22 as a renewal for the next one. So it's not we used to have January through December and everybody had to renew in January, but with the new system we started in a couple months ago, Ed set it up so you can use PayPal and you'll renew for 12 months.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not doing that. I'm maximizing the interest I'm getting in the bank. So for the last second.
That interest on $24.
Yeah.
0.01%.
Now you'll have one more penny. Yeah.
All right,
That's
folks.
good. All right.
Thank you all so much. Really
All right.
appreciate everybody's help on this, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for. We should mention that there is a speaker for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, Alan maybe should say something. Alan?
There's not really all that much to say. Our speaker is Les Wallum, and he came to me through some other contact. He has some very interesting photographs. I honestly, I think it's going to be a very interesting presentation.
Cool.
Learn something.
We'll put out more information in the next email with the links if we can get them. Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you.
it's already on the front page. Of,
Yeah, it's on the
our
front
web-
page. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
All right, guys. We'll see you.
All
Good
right.
night.
Good night.
Bye.